The recently concluded G20 Summit occupied the world's attention as New Delhi did something unique that has been lauded by countries across the world. It made a strong pitch to include the voices of countries that aren't in the G20 grouping. Let's talk about India's strong pitch for the global south, the countries that are least developed, underdeveloped and low-income economies.
G20 is now G21.
आगे की कार्रवाई शुरू करने से पहले मैं अफ्रीकन यूनियन के अध्यक्ष को G20 के स्थायी सदस्य के रूप में अपना स्थान ग्रहण करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं।
And India made possible as Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared the African Union as a permanent member during the inaugural session of the two-day final summit of the G20 Summit in New Delhi. Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of Comoros and Chair of the African Union, took the seat as the full member of the G20 shortly after the announcement. For the past few months, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been actively advocating for the African Union's inclusion as a member of the G20. Initially, the idea was conceived after the Voice of the Global South Summit in January this year. However, the idea was put into action early in June when Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote to his counterparts among the G20 members, urging them to grant the African Union full membership during the September summit. Until now, only South Africa was the member of the G20. The entry of the 55-member African Union would provide a greater voice to the global south within the G20, where the G7 countries have long played a dominant role.
À ma grande satisfaction, l'admission du G20 a été actée dès l'ouverture du sommet. Son Excellence M. Modi, Premier ministre de l'Inde, et les membres du G20 ont entériné l'adhésion de l'Union africaine au sein de cette grande instance décisionnelle économique. Bien sûr. Effectivement, l'Afrique a des problèmes internes qu'elle doit tout faire pour trouver des solutions. Mais avec le multilatéralisme qui s'impose à l'instant T, personne ne peut rien faire seul. Donc effectivement, notre adhésion au G20, effectivement, ça peut nous permettre à ce que ces pays-là, qui sont les grands décideurs du monde financier et économique, ça peut nous permettre de ce partenariat qui peut nous aider à résoudre les problèmes africains.
India made history by hosting the G20 Summit for the first time in New Delhi on September 9 to 10 and was marked by extensive preparations to showcase India's rich traditions and strengths. Throughout its presidency, India placed a strong emphasis on several critical issues, including promoting inclusive growth, fostering digital innovation, enhancing climate resilience, and ensuring equitable global health access. During the summit, India announced the launch of a global biofuel alliance with the United States and Brazil as its founding members to boost the use of cleaner fuels. The G20 presidential chair also announced India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, a multinational rail and ports deal linking the Middle East and South Asia on the sidelines of the summit. The New Delhi Declaration was also accepted, reaffirming that the G20 is the premier forum for international economic cooperation, and the member countries acknowledged that the G20 is not the platform for geopolitical and security issues, although these issues can have consequences for the global economy. The consensus came up as a surprise as G20 is deeply divided over the war in Ukraine, with Western nations earlier pushing for strong condemnations of Russia in the leaders' declaration, while others demanded a focus on broader economic issues. India's Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar said China, Russia's main major ally, was supportive of the outcome.
Everybody helped because everybody came together for the consensus. But I think if Sherpa would bear me out, I think the emerging markets took a particular lead on this, and many of us have a strong history of working together. Bear in mind that actually you have 4 developing countries in succession as G20 presidency: Indonesia, us, Brazil and South Africa. So, but I would say, rather than who helped, the point to be recognized is that a common landing point was ultimately fashioned out.
World Bank President Ajay Banga said that G20 Delhi Declaration would help in bringing reforms and redefine the vision of the bank.
The declaration has got many good parts to it. Selfishly, it has a great deal to do with the multilateral banks, which is good for me because it gives me the wind in my sails for me to keep pushing for reform and getting the bank to work better. That's the way I think about it.
The 2023 summit serves as a victory lap for India, as it has made great strides in positioning itself as a global leader and helped advance concerns of non-G20 members.